Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Things with Brendan channel. I'm your host Brendan. Today we're talking about why Batman 89 sucked. Now a lot of people probably clicked on this video thinking I'm talking about the Batman 1989 movie. No, that's a masterpiece. No, I'm talking about a recently released comic book bringing back the Batman from 1989, Michael Keaton's Batman. Highly anticipated, and they completely dropped the ball on the book. The 1989 Batman movie is an icon in American pop culture and beloved by Batman fans. At the time, most people knew Batman from his comics or the Adam West Batman television series. The 1989 movie redefined Batman forever. It even spawned multiple sequels, only one of which featured Michael Keaton's return as Batman. So when fans of the Batman 1989 movie were told a comic was coming that would continue the story after Batman Returns, we were all super excited. But let me tell you, this book is one of the biggest flops in comic book history. So while I and many other Batman fans thought this book sucked, some liked it. And if that's you, that's okay. You're entitled to that opinion, and it's just fine. But here's what we didn't like. My first issue with the book is Bruce Wayne appears far older than he was in the previous story. So here's Bruce in the previous story, Batman Returns. He has some gray on the sides, and this book takes place not too long after Batman Returns. However, it appears years have passed for Bruce. Either that, or it's been a really stressful year, maybe 2 or 3. The timing of this book is a little confusing. We really don't know how long after Batman Returns this takes place. We see reference to the Shrek company, whose CEO Max Schreck was killed in Batman Returns. We also see Catwoman exists already and has a slight costume change from Batman Returns. Bruce even still owns the cat he rescued from an alley on Christmas Eve at the end of Batman Returns. So we know for a fact this is after Batman Returns, but how many months, maybe even a year has passed, we don't know. My second issue is the depiction of Gotham. Batman 1989 and Batman Returns were both made by Tim Burton, who has a really unique style. In these movies, Gotham itself is almost a character. And to their credit, they somewhat got the look. But I think it could have been so much better. They had 6 issues to highlight Gotham and its unique Burton style, but they basically just made it look like any other city. My next issue is Commissioner Gordon's resemblance. This comic and its characters are based on Batman and Batman Returns, both of which feature the same actor as Gordon, so the comic should depict him. And here's a side-by-side of the comic depiction versus the movie. Gordon looks either 10 years younger or just a completely different guy. This comic also makes Gordon completely incompetent. He has no respect from anyone, and he completely sucks at his job. And while we're talking about incompetent characters, let's address my biggest problem with this book. Batman sucks. He is completely incompetent. This is an experienced Batman, not a brand new Batman, yet he completely sucks. For one, he gets a person killed and it's completely his fault. Now shit happens, and it's not the craziest thing to happen. He even admits he really screwed up. But later, Gordon gets killed right in front of him. He could have thrown a batarang and knocked the gun away. Or he could have used his remote-controlled batarang. Or even his grapple gun. He has multiple options, but he just stands there. So what the hell? He also gets jumped by Robin. And the getting jumped isn't the big issue. He wasn't expecting it, he's a little older, it's understandable. But the Robin has no training. He's just some 16-year-old kid and he overpowers Batman. It's total crap. But the biggest red flag for me, he keeps leaving gadgets around. At one point, Harvey Dent gets Batman's remote-control batarang. You would think he has learned his lesson after Batman Returns, when Penguin uses his batarang to kill a woman and frames Batman for the murder. One thing I love about Batman is he learns and he adapts. He's always getting better. But this Batman does not. There's then a cover of one of the issues with Barbara Gordon in front of a bunch of Batman's collected evidence. And sure, it's a cover, not the actual story, so it doesn't really happen or matter, but the police have multiple things from him, nearly an entire bat suit. And what's really dumb is they have his boots. Why or how would they have those? Is he taking his shoes off at crime scenes? Someone stole his shoes? Is there a Jason Todd in this universe who steals shoes instead of Batmobile tires? But then they also have a full mask. And I'll admit, they could reasonably have his ripped mask they found at the crime scene in the sewers at the end of Batman Returns. But it's not the ripped masks. It's a full mask. Is he taking that off too? This Batman also really sucks at keeping his identity secret. He gets his giant penny in this book, a staple of the Batcave. But these guys ask where he wants it. I'm assuming he didn't install it himself. These guys definitely saw the Batcave. At the end of the book, his identity is revealed to Barbara Gordon as well. And sure, he was unconscious and didn't know these pictures were being taken. But goddamn, dude. And now this next issue is tiny, and it's really just me nitpicking. But Tim Drake and the protesters drop paint on the GCPD. There's a whole subplot about police behavior towards minorities and protesting. It's very controversial, and I'm gonna avoid it. But my issue is the paint. It's a lot of paint. I recently bought a house and painted a bunch of rooms. It could just be where I'm living, but a gallon of the cheapest paint is about $55. And unfortunately, we have spilled some paint. So I've seen spilled paint. And the paint being spilled here is multiple gallons. There's a literal wave of paint in this image. That's at least 10 gallons or more. That ain't cheap. You're telling me they bought and dumped $500 worth of paint? There's certainly cheaper alternatives here. Towards the end of the book, Tim Drake suspects Bruce Wayne is Batman and then proves it in the dumbest way possible. He brings a vial and claims it's battery acid, the same stuff that burnt Harvey Dent's face. He then acts like he's going to throw it at Bruce, so Bruce grabs a rug or some small cloth, throws it at Tim, grabs him around the waist like a football tackle, and then throws Tim over his shoulder. Tim then exclaims, "Bruce is Batman." And I think a football tackle position and throwing someone over your shoulder is not defining behavior for Batman. I think most people would rush to get out of there or attack. The flight or flight instincts. And someone with a football background would probably tackle or knock the person down. I just don't feel like what Bruce did proves he's Batman. And another note, this comic gives Billie Dee Williams his shot as Two-Face. The Lego Batman movie did it too, but here he's explored. I feel it's a missed opportunity to also bring back Marlon Wayans to play Robin. At one point he was cast to play Robin, and then he never did. And I've heard some people online say that since this Tim Drake is black, he's supposed to be Marlon Wayans, but I just don't see the resemblance at all. Everyone else, except Gordon, is fairly accurate, but Tim looks nothing like Marlon Wayans. There's also some really confusing artwork in this, like this scene where Harvey is describing what could have been. Is this supposed to be what could have been versus what is? Or does the subway actually look like this? The tracks go different directions, could be two different tracks, could be a metaphor for what's going on, could also be the ideal base for Two-Face if it looks like this. I don't know. I can respect taking chances with art and being creative. I don't mind it. I don't know what the hell's going on though. There's some confusing artwork in the ending showdown as well, and I don't know if it's another what could have been versus what is going on. Bruce is reaching over the edge for Harvey, he grabs him, and then he's on a ledge. Then there's a rope with a hook, and then the hook is in Harvey's hand, and I don't really know what happened. Now I want to talk some positives. It gets a lot of things wrong and missed some opportunities, but to its credit, the book does a lot of things right. For one, we get Billie Dee Williams back as Harvey Dent and get to see him as Two-Face. It's awesome. Typical Two-Face origin story, but still cool to see. We also get a reference to the Sons of Batman from the Dark Knight Returns book. Fans of the channel will know I hate that book, but it's still a cool reference. We also see members of the Mutant Gang, also from the Dark Knight Returns. Barbara Gordon is also a cop, and Commissioner Gordon, Jim Gordon, is at the end of his career, and it's very Dark Knight Returns inspired. In the same page, we also get the giant penny from the Batcave, and we see an interview with none other than Dr. Harleen Quinzel, with her classic red, black, and white colors. Harley Quinn reference for you. And in this world, Joker died, so we get to see what happens to Harley if Joker wasn't around. There's also a lot of people dressed as the Joker, meaning his legacy is not gone. We also get the return of Selena Kyle. She has some changes to her costume, now adding some purple. It resembles her look in the book Nightfall. We also see Harvey Dent messing around with Batman's remote control Batarang we saw in Batman Returns. As I previously mentioned, Bruce still has the cat he found in the alley at the end of Batman Returns. That's just pretty cool attention to detail. We also see a piece of paper with the Shrek company name and logo. It's a reference to Christopher Walken's character Max Schreck in Batman Returns. We then get to see Tim Drake as Robin. I would have preferred Dick Grayson, but whatever. His costume is very reminiscent of Tim's costume in the Batman Arkham City game. Both versions have hoods, arm guards, and exposed arms. The gang of Joker goons running around is also a reference to the Joker's gang in Batman Beyond, who were inspired by Joker long after his death. Bruce Wayne also wears a suit resembling his look in Batman the Animated Series. We also get to see Bruce wearing an outfit under his Batman suit that resembles the quick change Batman figure from the 1989 Batman toy line. On one of the covers, we see Barbara Gordon holding a Batarang over his chest, referencing her as Batgirl. Many of the characters in the story are based on depictions of actors who play them. So Barbara Gordon is actually Winona Ryder. This story also begins on Halloween night and gives us an origin story to Two-Face, very similar to Batman The Long Halloween. We also get an image of Batman shaking hands with Harvey on the roof of the GCPD, similar to him meeting Harvey and Gordon in The Long Halloween. This was also referenced in The Dark Knight. Finally, we see Tim gets a motorcycle for his adventures as Robin as a gift from Bruce. It has the shielding effect on it, similar to the Batmobile in the movies. This book gets a lot of things right, but a lot of things wrong too. Overall, it's decent. I read it. Would I read it again? Maybe. Possibly. Unlikely, but maybe. Would I recommend it? No. It's a letdown. I think I caught all the references, but if not, let me know what I missed. Also, let me know your thoughts on the book in the comments. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Yes, this is a Spider-Man visual and a Batman video, but cut me some slack. This video took a lot of time to 1, read the book, 2, get images, 3, edit them into the video, create visuals, research some, voiceover, and then lots more. It takes hours to make these. So liking it really helps me, keeps me going. So thanks for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.